Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning, 15 minutes. Kuntres Heichaltzu. It's Hashem, we'll finish Parak Chaf. Okay, so we were saying that Havai Lakim was discussing. Havai Lakim is really one. That the name Havai, which represents godliness, as it is above the details, and it's more of an Achdus versus a Lakim. It's all about the details. And we said that even in Shem Havaye, which is, so to speak, above details, that it has within details, we see Havaye, which represents all those levels. That Havaye represents all these levels. That, within Havaye, there's all these levels, but it's all one. It's all united. Whereas Elikim, it's all about the separation. Sort of what the focus is. On Havaye, the focus is the oneness of everything. And Elikim, the focus is on the distinctions. And we said, and that's what it means, that Shvai and Elikim and Kol Echad, they're really one, is because even in Havaye, it has these distinctions. So top of page 163. Just making sure everyone can hear me. Okay, Rak, page 163 at the top. Rak, as we've explained, that it has to have these two other things. We understand that he exists as simple, transcendent oneness. For if he was a defined, limited entity, he would not be God. On the other hand, of his simplicity that did not allow for multiplicity, he would be defined as simply transcendent and be circumscribed by that definition, thus limiting him. So if you say God is just transcendent, so then you're limiting. If you say he's not able to be defined, he's not able to come into the multiplicity, then it's also defining him. So he has both. He's transcendent, but he's also in the details. And if so, yesh kan based varim. We have two aspects in here. Shenei haribui. On one hand, God possesses the potential for multiplicity. The kulam b'chinas achdus v'adiyachid mamash, and together with that, it's all united. Everything can be united. And like we're talking, this whole moment is about being united and unity. So he's saying God is a perfect example that you have. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't say the example, but he's teaching us how it's meant to be. That it has to be birth. And the revelation is through both levels of Shem Havai and Shem Elikim. And he explains how, because until now we're saying Shem Elikim is the one that makes and divides, but Shem Havai unites. So how they have birth? Shem Elikim reveals the multiplicity. So we have all these infinite amount of different creations and creatures and live and plants and vegetative, and everything that we see, the vastness of everything that we see here. That's what Shem Elikim produces. Shem Havai where Shem Havai reveals the unity within that. Shekal Madregas Pratia, it's all these different levels. Hey, Benetzalim, whether it's emanations from his lights and the created beings, all come together as one. That even though we have a world with all this separation, we have, and look around your room, you'll see so many different types of things. We're saying together with that, the Shem Havai aspect within the world, within the creation, is that brings it all together. All these things again. And a simple example is, you take food, which is very different than you eat it, you make a bracha, and you use it for the right purpose. You give tzedakah, you go to work for the right purpose. Everything you make that's purposeful for the right reasons, connecting to Hashem. So then you're uniting everything. You're showing that unity. Unity is essentially there. You're revealing it. That all these details are really one thing. I know, meaning you're revealing the unity that's within Atzmos. Because like we said, Natzos has all these potentials. And when it comes out, and you do those things, when they come out as separate things and you use them out for the right thing, you're bringing that unity together. This will help us understand an important pasuk that we say every day. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Now we're going to understand this, and the next time you say Shema, you'll have what to think about. You should say, if we're showing that really united, everything's one with God, it's all oneness. So we should say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem is our God, Hashem Yachid, Hashem is singular. It's only God. Why do I say Hashem Echad, which implies one implies there's also two? Because singular shows more of a unity than one. Like explained at length in different places, the difference between them. When you say one implies there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you say there's singular implies that that's all there is. And if we're saying that Hashem is the only real existence, so why don't we say Hashem Yachid? Hashem is the only true existence. Why do you say Hashem is one? Which Chas Hashem could lead a person to think that there's 2, 3. There's other existences but Hashem. So what's the answer? The answer is like this. It is that God is the only true existence. Yachid, singular, there's nothing else but God. But why do we say Echad? Like we say, there's one, there's no second, there's nothing else but God. That's obvious. It's not one in the numerical sense that there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's not a unity. The world is not really a unity of different parts. Because really the parts that we see in this world, they exist within Hashem's essence. And the Shem Havai is just the revelation of that aspect of Atzmos. The world is literally united with God. So when we say Hashem Echad, we shouldn't think ourselves that all these different separate things are separate things, but we somehow connect to God. That essentially they're not separated things. They're all one with God. They're truly godly. The reason why we say Hashem Echad is Liyoisha Achtus Shem Havai. But why do we say Hashem Echad? Is because when it's revealed all these details in the levels, you have different things like the humans, like the animals, and the plants, and the earth, and all these things. When they were created, when they created to become separated beings, seemingly separated, you have the Havaya coming into it and uniting it. So like it says in the footnote of here in 166, in the Shema before saying Havaya Echad, Hashem is one, what do we say? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu. Meaning the sequence is that the oneness revealed by God's name Havaya comes after the multiplicity brought about by his name Elokim. So Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem. So he's saying Elokeinu Hashem. The Elokeinu means that the world is created in a way that we see this Elokim aspect, which is the multiplicity. But Hashem, but still in that multiplicity that we see, it's really all the oneness, and that's why it's Echad and really united. And he explains, Hashem is one. If we would say Hashem is Yachid, we wouldn't know about these details. We'd say Hashem is singular, but I look around the world, I see all these details and all these separate beings. So it must be that there's Hashem, and then there's all these other things. That's what if you say Hashem is Yachid. Yachid means singular, alone, there's God, and then there's other things. Whereas when we say Hashem Echad, we say in all these details that you see that look very distinct and very separated from God, Elokim, but you have Havaya Echad, Hashem is one that really in this world and all these things, it's all really God. You would think if you only said Hashem Yachid, it's looking at Yachid meaning the level of godliness as it is in his source, essence. That's Yachid, it's only God. But And it's all in the But after we create all these created beings, and they've been revealed, and all these different levels within it, like we said before. They all get united, all these details into the Shem Havayeh. To be truly united. Yeah, it's very interesting. He's saying that there's a unity in God's essence, because everything comes from God's essence, but that's not a deep unity. When we're all in a seminar environment, all doing relatively the same things, it doesn't show that we're that distinct and that we have true unity. We're just in the same environment doing the same things. It's pretty simple to go straightforward. Everyone is meant to be matching, so you don't see the difference. It's like people look from the outside at Chassidim. I say, oh, we all look the same. Everyone looks the same. No one looks different. You look at black hats and white shirts, and they all look the same from a distance. No one knows. But when you're inside, you can tell. We all know the differences and the difference of opinions, and all the parts that mechalikas that unfortunately divide us. But he's saying in that level, when you have that, where we can see that there's all these divisions, that's where the true unity can exist. To say there's true unity in Atzmos, in God's essence, to say there's true unity within us, when we're all doing the same thing in the environment, but we're not. It's not a chiddush, nothing special. It's when we go out of the seminary, when we go live our different lives, and everyone goes back to where they came from, or they move to different places and they live their lives the way they live it, but they come back together. That's true unity. That's what he's saying here. See, in the note on 167, God in his essence is described as Yachid, single, unique. However, a superficial concept of that description would imply that he exists unto himself, and that all other existence is, as it were, separated from him. That's how you could think about it. God's name Havayah resolves this misconception, showing that even after the particular elements of existence were brought into being, so after you have everything in the world like we see it, they are not separate from him, nor even unified with him as significant entities. We're not separated from God, and we're not even united with God as us and God, but rather subsumed in his singularity to the extent where their existence is not felt at all. We are one, we are united, we're singular with God. We're not separate entities with God, we are God. And in that, but in itself, we won't even feel our existence. All that is felt is him. The fact that created beings feel their own identity, the fact that we feel ourselves as our own existence, we're something separated from God, that's how we feel, unfortunately, is a misconception that comes as a result of the influence of God's name Elokim. Elokim makes us feel that is me. And Havayah makes us realize that it's all God. And the fact that we feel ourselves as separate things is not the reality, it's not the truth. That's the misconception. The truth is it's all godly. It's like I'll tell you the story. Kitzur. Ein Seif Neisei Haribui. God's infinite light contains multiplicity within it. But within it, it's all yachid, it's all singular. You don't see that separateness. Shem Alekim, its job is megala haniv banivraim haribui. It's to reveal the separateness within them. Reveal it, so it comes out, and as we have our world is based off Shem Alekim, that we see ourselves as separate beings. Unfortunately, Shem Havayeh, what does Havayeh do? Ha'achtos da'yachid. It's showing the unity of the singularity. It's sort of showing us how we're really one, like we are in that source, but down here. Havayeh echad. What does it mean? Hashem is one. It's achtos hanivraim b'chinas yachid. It's the unity of created beings in singularity. Meaning, it's that feeling, it's the recognition that we're all godly. They're not all godly, they were all essentially God's essence. And that's what it means when you say bittul. I talk about here. We have avas sinas chinam, you have avas chinam, and levels of bittul. The bittul is essentially the feeling, or as Shei Stab says, ego stands for edging God out. That's what Elokim produces. And what Havayah is trying to produce is feeling of godly, that everything is God. Not that you don't see anything, but everything you see is part of God's plan. It's all God, and all has that clarity of God. And when you do that, it's like having avos. It's like the opposite of the klippas midyan. You come and you look at a person, and you find the godliness within them, and you look at the godliness. They have a heilig neshama. And this is what he's saying. When you look at it this way, that's how you see things. I was gonna say a story, but I forgot the story now. Anyway, I guess to be continued. Yeah, continue tomorrow.